Alright guys, I had the chance to train with Adam Wardzinski, the recent IBJJF Grand Slam champion. He starts right in his knee cut on my weak side, and you can see how he straightens his ankle in response to my hook to hook, which is my attempt to drag him out to his knee. At that time, he slips his elbow inside of my knee shield, and he slowly starts to melt his hip inside of my knee shield. I would say this point right here is when he started to really break inside. But instead of just flying through for the pass, he really takes his time to set up control. So I guess he has a very good, solid, well-controlled landing position. And this is consistent with how he competes, in my opinion. He never really rushes through. I try to use an underhook here to kind of get underneath him inside to his back, but he uses this cross face with the thumb in the collar to flare my head. And there my elbow gets stuck across my body, which is, to be honest, quite terrible for me. The only way that I'm probably going to get out of this is to rotate towards him. So if I turtle a little bit, I can at least free my arm. But the risk is that as I do and I turtle, I expose my back. So I'm trying to fight the neck, but also block the hooks. And you can see I slip my leg out there, almost like a knee cut motion. And my right arm is pinned underneath his hip and butt. I continue trying to turtle and cut an angle. And here he shrimps out, which kicks me back to my butt, and he gets the choke even without the legs. I think having those really good grips in the collar take away the need to have these perfect hooks and perfect control. As we start again, I start in guard, seated guard with no grips. He controls my sleeve. That is a grip I noticed kind of watching him roll that he likes quite a bit. While he's here and I get a butterfly, you can see he punches his knee right into my armpit. So he gets very deep with that staple, which again, the cool thing is he only does what's in his DVDs. He uses that to enter kind of a leg weave position, leading more with his foot than his knee. And here he cuts back to his right leg being in between my legs. This opens up the space underneath my knee where he uses a real leg weave position and he flattens. One thing I noticed with him is his leg is always completely flush and flat to the ground, which is probably how he's able to secure the mount so often. I think obviously there's a skill component to this, but I think there's also a dexterity element, which is also notable when he hits those John Waynes, how much he curves his toes and ankles to kind of fill in those gaps. I tried to elbow escape here, but you can see just how flat his ankles are. The ankle joint itself is flush to the ground. Here he's cooking me with quite a bit of pressure, dropping his hips in. The problem is if I just defend his submission attacks on my arm and my neck, I'll never get out of the mount. But if I focus a little bit too much on the mount as I am right now, my neck is completely wide open. And you can see here, he starts to feed an Ezekiel there, and I have to come back, abandon the leg escapes, but I end up getting tapped. I just want to kind of, when I roll with him, with someone of this caliber, I like to just see every part of their game as much as possible. So I'm trying top, bottom, open guard, mixing it up as much as I can. Again, sleeve control, just like he preferred from a top position. And I know he likes that shin to shin. So basically I'm trying to hide the leg closest to the camera so he can't scoop behind it and punch me backwards. The problem is here he already has control of two of my limbs. My right leg as well as my sleeve. As I try to high step out, he follows me very sticky on the hook and I walk right into the sweep I'm trying to avoid. He was very gentle at first, gave me a little bit more just to knock me over. You'll see here he strips my thigh, gets his knee in deep, breaking into that inner pocket. His staple game is definitely something that he's known for, which I kind of think is pretty cool because it's quite a simple game. Of course, there's some small details that he uses, which is kind of what separates him. A little nice shin-to-shin action there to clear. And again, melted, legs low and flat, and he hooks my long leg with his leg. And that allows him to pummel his leg in and collapse my knee. So I'm going to play it again in slow motion. You can see how I off-balance him with my butterfly. And he pummels his shin in, collapses my knee with his knee, and does a knee slice right over both of my legs rather than trying to fight for that inside space, which at this time isn't even there because my thighs are pinched together. As he melts into side control, I try to turtle again. He does a nice job sitting heavy on my hips. I enjoyed rolling with him because he wasn't trying to punish me. He was actually matching my pace and letting me work. I am kind of persistent here on trying to turtle. And I turtle on my elbow, which is typically not something you want to do because it can open up stuff exactly like this, where he's grabbing my forearm. You'll see Brasileiros does this flying lifting armbar, but he just does a nice smooth version. So, anytime your elbow pulls away from your hip or chest, that risk exists where people can swim in and control an attack. I drove over an hour to learn and train with him, so getting to roll with him was definitely a cherry on top. I hope you guys enjoyed that breakdown. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment. Like and subscribe if you want to see more like this.